Hi, this is Amber Matusek, and I am here with Whiskey. And originally, I think this is Karen working Whiskey, who is an 8-year-old quarter horse Arabian gelding who sounds like he's had some pretty traumatic experience. He's was started as a 3-year-old and has went through, I think, 8 owners is what they said in the first 4 years. Okay, so he's in the 7th owner in 4 years, and he had a variety of different types of training, all that were not beneficial, and left him quite resistful and upset about life with ulcers. So they have him on an ulcer treatment now and are starting the work in hand. This is the current trainer, and it looks like she's definitely on the right track. I would say, this is decent activity. It looks like she continually is asking for just a little bit more activity. As you can see, the horse is swishing its tail against the whip, but this is the right thing to do, is to continue to ask for more activity and some stepping over. But this is a really, really good start with a nice the horse is definitely wanting to actively stretch down and seek the contact, and working on just maybe keeping slightly steadier contact with the reins. But I would say overall, really good start with the work in hand. And now starting out in the second direction here, starts out just a little bit up, but she's correcting that and taking a little feel there, you can see, and sending him on with the whip. And I think overall, I really like the relaxation that I see with this horse, especially from the description that I got, which was, that the horse couldn't even go out on the lunge line at all without taking off like a bat out of hell. And now it looks like there's a good amount of relaxation here, and the horse is starting to actively reach down and look for the contact and accept a little bit more of the whip. And that's a teaching process in itself, is teaching the horse to accept the aids that you're putting on it and not have an incorrect response to the aids. And a lot of horses, you go to use the whip, and instead of just moving forward, they brace up, or they kind of back up against that pressure instead of stepping forward. And that's just a teaching process. There is teaching the horse what the whip means, to step forward and reach out and down with the head and neck. So what you're trying to do with the whip is create, is all about that flow of energy. So you want to create enough flow of energy that the horse is really pushing off with the hind end, and pushing up through its back, and then up over the back and out and down through the head and neck. And if it's not, then the initial thing is always just creating that enough energy that it wants to step up and forward. And then if it's moving forward but yet still not stretching, then then that's a softening to the hand issue. So now I think it's the owner now trying a little work in hand here. And I would say that I would always try to walk on the inside of the ring. So see here, she's between the horse and the rail, and I think it's just a little bit more of a dangerous position to get yourself in. So I always try to, whichever direction I want to go. So if I'm on the right side of the horse here, then I would just put the horse up against the rail there and walk like in this direction that she's headed now. just have the horse walk in that direction. And I think she's trying to coordinate the work in hand here, and doing an okay job of that. But I think as I've watched the video all the way through, I would maybe stick to a little bit more of the lunging for right now, when working on the horse. And I think this is Marciana. So I think, when Marciana is working with the horse, maybe, the lunging was actually quite good. And as you can see, there's some obstacles in the arena here, and they're kind of running into some issues because of that. So I would say maybe just have the trainer do the work in hand for now, and I would have Marciana just work Whiskey on the lunge, as she did a really nice job, getting, as you'll see here coming up, a really nice job of getting Whiskey just nice and relaxed and, active in the walk on the lunge line. So, again, she's doing a little more work in hand here. I think it could be a little more active, and so she needs just a little more activity here. The horse is sort of just a little bit just wandering around and not really pushing up and over through its back. And maybe she's having a little bit of difficulty, completely controlling the direction in which Whiskey is going. So yeah, I would say for now, I would say stay away from trying to do too much of this with the owner. That, as I said earlier, the trainer, Karen, did a nice job with that. So, have her do the work in hand and then stick to the lunging. So again, here the horse is still just not quite active enough, but there's still a lot of relaxation here, which is good. And it doesn't look like they're running into any major problems as far as the horse misbehaving or trying to run you over, which it sounds like may have been an issue in the beginning. So definitely on the right track here. The horse looks nice and relaxed, just not quite coming through and active and engaging enough here with the second work in hand person. So even here you can see with the stretch, that's a good stretch, really good stretch. There's still just not quite enough activity coming through from behind. So still needs to get more active with the work in hand. Now here she starts out on the lunge line and just at the walk, and it looks like she's doing a better job here on the lunge line, starting to move the horse away from her. And apparently they have to stay on quite a short line because the horse will run off. So this is good here, and it looks like there's some good corrections going on, she's got the whip up and she's kind of trying to push the horse away from her on the lunge line, and I really like to see that. It's good that she has kind of got the whip up a little bit towards the shoulder, which is what you want to do if you have a horse that kind of falls in a little on the lunge line and you're still trying to get them to take the contact. So I like how she's handling that here. And then I think slowly she's, just asking for a little more activity here on the lunge line at the walk, which is really good. And I think that since I've watched this whole video all the way through, I think that, this horse would actually start to be ready to do a little trot work. Now if the horse hollows completely in the trot work, then I would definitely use a shambone and some very loose fitting side reins that I would lunge with to help. The side reins will help get the horse even out on the lunge line a little better, because it just provides a little outside rein there for him to stretch into, and the shambone will just really help with any hollowing that's happening. And then the main things that you have to worry about are only really the activity and, staying out at the end of the line there, which gives you a little less to worry about. But this is decent. This is pretty good here, at the walk. She's getting, better activity than in the work in hand, and the horse is definitely starting to relax and reach out and down, and definitely on the right track. The beginning works of this. I think that, as I said, that this horse would probably be ready to do a little bit of trot and see how that goes. It's great that, you've taken the time and, are wanting to see this through, rescuing this horse, and not just passing him along to the next person, and working with, it looks like, a trainer that did a really nice job with the work in hand. So, you two together, working with this horse is definitely on the right track. The only other thing I would say, just to make sure that, the horse can reach all the way down. I can't tell if those reins I think they're connected to the horn, so just make sure that they're not pulling, as the horse starts to reach down, that he can get all the way down to the ground if possible. And then again here, just in the lunging, I would continue to just ask for a bit more activity in the walk, just a little bit more swing to come through, and actually pushing them forward does help push them out to the end of the line also. So like maybe, invest in a shambone, or if you have a shambone, try that. Always start with a looser setting, and then work your way, to a little bit tighter, and then some really long side reins. But really good start, and I hope to see more of this horse coming up. Good job, and it makes me very grateful to see people that are taking the time to do this work. Thanks.